That the government is not going to fund universities has this implication. It means now he has given universities free will to charge fees at market rate. That is the implication. Because currently, the fee being charged is 16,000. Even kindergarten pupils do not pay 16,000. So the government is giving universities free will. That's why I told you go and ask him what he meant. Now, has he given public universities free will to charge fees at market rate? Because private universities where they take students charge fees at market rate, and also they sponsor students and take capitation there. Does it now mean that public universities have been given free hand to charge fees at market rate? And what is the implication of that? It means now education is going to remain for the rich only. Who will allow him to do that? We will not allow him. Thank you very much.
To address the concerns that are affecting the university sector, it is in the public domain that the universities are suffering due to underfunding. You have seen, for example, Egerton University on strike most recently, and many more will do the same thing, because the crisis in the university sector is something that needs to be addressed urgently. We have serious underfunding in the university sector. The public universities are public entities. They are for the benefit of the children of this country, and the underfunding is affecting the education standards in this country. So we are here today to address our concerns so that they need to be addressed very, very urgently, so that the university sector can operate the way it ought to operate. The student population has increased over the years, and that is why you see students are not going outside the country to study like it used to be the norm. Students are preferring to study within the country, and the serious underfunding is affecting the education sector. We need to address this crisis. It is a crisis. We need to address it urgently. So I'll invite our Secretary General to speak to
the CS Minister of Education made a very disturbing statement while he was at Dedan Kimathi University. That statement has not made us sleep, because we don't know whether it is a government policy or it was a roadside declaration. But I believe it was a roadside declaration, because I know how policies are formulated. What we want to know, what did the CS Ministry of Education mean when he said that the government would not fund universities? I want to say that over the years, the government has expanded higher education by establishing many universities. Currently, there are 77 universities in Kenya, 36 of which are public universities, and 5 constituent colleges. The funding of public universities has not been commensurate with the student population growth in our universities. The demand for university education has led to unprecedented growth in student population over the years. This has led to high student numbers in universities rising to 145,000 students admitted yearly. The exponential growth in student numbers has put heavy strain on the facilities and human resources in public universities. The universities have had to deal with increased demand for learning space, as well as high academic staff to cope with the high number of students. However, the government has not been able to provide sufficient funds through capitation to enable the public universities to respond to high demands promptly and effectively. The government policy currently is that they are supposed to fund 80% of the DUC. But the government has been funding students at 46% of DUC. Consequently, universities have been forced to secure and offer many of their services on credit. Almost all public universities have had to run budget deficits on account of debts to their suppliers and service providers. Despite the underfunding crisis at public universities, the government nevertheless allocates funding to private entities or private universities to support the government-sponsored students in private universities. And as a union, we've been wondering, what informed this? Public universities are struggling, and you take the students that should bring money to public universities and take them to private entities. When the CS, Minister of Education, was being vetted in Parliament, he was asked this question, and he promised to deal with the cartels. Now, the minister in our public universities has now reached a crisis level. And we expected the CS to solve this crisis. And we found the government had good intention. And the president even formed a working party. And one of the TOR was funding our public universities. So what we are asking ourselves, do we still go to give our views to the presidential working party that is moving around when the minister has taken a position that they will not fund universities? Another question that I want to ask the CS, you know, if you are appointed to a position like that, you know the manifesto that your party leader sold. When the president was campaigning, he signed a charter with members of the university community. And these are the excerpts from that charter. One, the president committed, and I want you to go to that charter to prove me right or wrong. He promised to increase technical universities from 3 to 8. How would you increase them if you stop funding universities? The president also committed to bridge the gap of funding higher education from the current 80, and he promised to increase it by 45%. The next thing that he promised the higher education community was to increase research funding from 0.8% to 2% of the GDP. This CS, does he know what his own collusion promised? Does he even know what his own appointing authority promised members of the university community? When he was appointed, many Kenyans had a doubt on him. And us as members of the university community, we gave him opportunity. We gave him the benefit of doubt. Now he's confirming our worries that he's not fit for this position. We want him to come in the open and tell us what he meant. Because as a union, we can petition the president so that he's being removed, he be removed there forthwith. Does he understand that the president signed a charter with the members of the university community? And now that he has taken a position, Do we still go to present our views how to finance university education to the Presidential Working Party on educational reforms? Those are the questions I want you to go to Jogo House and ask him. He should clarify. Then why are Kenyans wasting taxpayers' money on this Presidential Working Party on educational reforms when the Ministry of Education has taken a position that they will no longer fund universities? Then why should we pay taxes? By definition, public universities means they are government-owned. The government should fund them through taxpayers' money. I've also been wondering, why should public universities employees generate their funds and not other public institutions? I think there's a big problem at the Ministry of Education. We don't know who will remove these cartels from Jogo House. We don't know. We thought Machogu could remove them. He has been swallowed by the cartels. Thank you very much. I'm waiting for you.
Okay. Thank you, members of the press, for...
I'll be available for... Go and ask the CS what he meant, as we don't know. Has he now converted these universities?
I have a question.
No question. They don't have. We sing.
Okay, we will sing our national.
I think I sing.
Sit.
No.
Because of the cameras.
That is how serious the CS statement is. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you are going to see this on the media.
Are we going to see it?
Over lunch hour news?
The statement is here. You can give them copies.
I hope so.
I've signed. Why can't you make copies of them?
We can also share it. Mnangojea mujiset, mkiwa set mnatuambia, then we can start. Any other gadget that is coming this side? Kama kuna gadget ingine inaweza kupitishiwa. You are set?